What country are you or your family members originally from?
My family came from Laos.
Awesome.
Okay.
Why did you or your family members leave this country?
We came because there was political issues that has come up in our country between um, the Communist Party and the people who didn't like the Communist Party, and so my dad was not didn't want anything to do with the regime, and so he left before we did, and then my mom and four children left after he left about a month, 2 months later. So
What were the conditions in the country when you left?
a lot of turmoil. If you did not support the communist movement, then you were sent to a concentration camp. They call it seminar camps, and so my dad didn't support that, and so they were going to put him in those concentration camps, and so he escaped um, and left my mother and the four children at home with my grandparents, um, and that's the reason why we immigrated over here was because of political asylum.
Who came with you when you immigrated? Who did you leave behind? What did you leave behind?
Like I said, my dad left to Thailand about a month, 2 months before my mom and the four children left, and my aunt. We came together. We walked many miles, and crossed the Mekong River. We had a group of people that helped us do that. We left all of my other family members, my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, both on my parents' side, my mother and dad's side. They were left behind. And so it's just my immediate family, just my mother and dad, and then the four children at the time. And then we had one child, or my parents had one child that was born in Thailand. And so just the four children and the parents.
What changes in lifestyle did you make when you came here?
Everything. Everything. My dad was a school teacher when he was in Laos. My mom was a housewife, and they farmed when they're not teaching, and so we had to change everything. Both of my parents had to work in factories. We had to learn a new language. We have to learn to eat new foods, different foods, um, a new culture. Just about everything changed. It was all new to us, and so everything we had to learn to do everything new.
What was your first impression of the United States? Has this initial impression changed over time?
Oh my goodness. My first impression was this is a huge land and so many people of so many different colors, so many people of different style. I mean, in Laos, everybody has dark hair, or gray. And here you've got blonde hair, brown hair, different color eyes, different color skin. It's all different race and ethnicity. We were so impressed with all these groups of people and how vast the country and the environment was. And that was my impression. It was a big, vast place that we had to learn to live and get acclimated to the environment and to the surroundings. So we were very awed by the expansiveness of this country. And so,
What are some of the differences slash similarities you've noticed in the cultures here in your home country?
differences was, the language, the food, the way that people did things. But the similarities is that we all need the same basic needs. We all wanted to be, fit in. We all wanted to be loved. We all wanted a place to belong. We all wanted to make a living for our family and support and provide for our families. Those are all the same basic needs that we all had as humanities, as humans. And so those were the same things.
How were you treated when you first arrived in the United States, and how are you treated? How are you treated now? Have you experienced discrimination or racism due to your culture or ethnicity? What happened?
When we first got here, we were sponsored by Catholic Family Services. And so our sponsor, we had two Caucasian families that sponsored us. And so they just welcomed us with open arms. They loved on us. They took care of us. They helped my parents find jobs. They helped us get used to the new environment, taught them how to drive, took them to work. So we were welcome into the country at first. Our sponsors were a tremendous group of people. They've always loved us. We ended up, calling them grandma and grandpa. That's how much they loved us. But we came at a very troubling time, right after the Vietnam War. I came in 1982, And so, you know, the the idea and thoughts about people from Asia were still fresh in people's mind about what happened in the Vietnam War. And so some of us did not, feel that welcome. And I would have to say, yeah, there was a little bit of discrimination because they said, if you're from Asia, they look at you a little different. They thought that every Asian person was Vietnamese, and we weren't. We were Laotian. We were a product of this war just as much as the Americans were. And so it was a little different at first. A little bit of discrimination, but we just have to realize they're people and they have the right to their thoughts and feelings. They didn't understand, and that's the reason why they had those issues or those concerns or those feelings about us. And so that helped us get used to living here at first. And so those thoughts have changed. I mean, over the years. I look now, and as a teacher in this classroom, I couldn't say that America is just one race or one group of people. It wouldn't be America if we didn't have, all the different races and all the different colors and all the different languages and people from every type of environment. So my thought, my thought about America has not really changed. I have always thought America to be this wonderful, great place, and it is. It hasn't changed. But people's perception of Asians have changed over the years, and they have been more accepting of us over the years, and so that's a good change.
That's good. Have you ever been made fun of because of a cultural trait, such as your home language or traditional clothing or food? Describe the experience.
Yes, I wouldn't say because of our clothing or food, but from our ethnicity or racial background. And I think at first they did. Kids or the other ones that were harder, and then as the year progressed, I think it's more accepted. When I was in school at the time, we couldn't speak English. We came and we didn't know any English at all. And so the kids at school would say, oh, those Chinese people. And, and of course they made fun of that. And, it didn't hurt us. We knew that they didn't understand. That's the reason why they did it. But, over time they changed. They realized that, every group of people are different. And, those hostile feelings that they might have had change as well. And so there was some hostility at first. But like I said, it is more accepting, of everybody now. And so I'm glad. I'm glad the stigma has changed.
Yes.
Across the nation. So I'm glad.
Me too. I'm glad as well.
Mm-hmm.
What situations can you think of that force or encourage people to give up parts of their identity?
I think they're afraid of being ridiculed, being judged, and not being accepted if they show that they are from this country or from that country. It doesn't matter if it's Asian or from the Middle East or from other places where there's turmoil right now. And I think they're afraid of the or the retaliation of things that could happen to them. And so they might be a little bit more hesitant to tell people or to show who they really are. And so I think maybe it's fear. It's fear.
Do you have any food/habits or rituals that are specific to your culture?
Yes, Laotian folks, sticky rice, papaya salad, kapun, which is a curry sauce. That's very much a Laotian dish. Thai and Laotian people eat pretty much the same thing, but there are some things that are done that's specifically for Laotian folks, and sticky rice is one of those.
Oh, I love sticky rice.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good. If you're from a culture that speaks English as a second language, do you speak your native language? If not, why? If so, will you teach your native language to any children you have?
Yes, in my family, I try to speak. I speak Lao fluently, and so I try to speak Lao as much as I can to my children. But they hang out with American kids, English-speaking kids, all day long, and so it's hard. It's hard to get them to speak the language. Not that I don't want them to, but because that's the language of, that's their primary language now. When they're born, they're with English-speaking kids all the time, and so it's getting harder and harder for them to retain their mother language or their home language that I want them to speak. But I do. I speak Lao to my children and my family. I wish they would speak more. But like I said, they revert back to English every time. And sometimes for me, I revert back to my primary language all the time, which is Lao, and then English is just another one that I revert back and forth. Now it's just about the same for both language because I use so much of it in the classroom and at home too. And so, and what was the other question?
Will you teach your native language to any children you have?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. My daughter's getting better at it, but my son, he's still struggling, you know. I think as as we get used to living here and you know, have lived here for so long, your primary language goes away a little bit every day because like I said, the children, they're with their kids, they're with their friends and their peers who speak English all the time. They prefer that. They prefer that. Not because they don't want to speak Lao, not because they are ashamed by it. It's just that's what they use, you know. And so I think it has helped them get better at speaking in English, but they're forgetting their primary language as well. And so I wish they would. I wish they would.
How would you feel if your children married outside their ethnic group or culture?
I couldn't care less. If somebody loves them and cherishes them and, you know, and take care of each other and they are able to make a living with each other and they, you know, love and, like I said, love and cherish each other. I couldn't care less if they're green, blue, or purple. I couldn't care less. As long as they love my child and my child loves them back and they can make a wonderful family together, I couldn't care less. Because I feel like God made us all the same blood.
Well, thank you for answering my questions. And just for the video, will you state your name?
Oh, okay. My name is Phong, Madsourivong.
Okay. And what job do you have?
I teach 8th grade science at Sam Houston Middle School.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.